This year marks the 5th anniversary of the regulatory approval for Icentris, the first integrase inhibitor. Merck is proud to have reached this exciting milestone and to continue to provide patients around the globe with an important option to help manage their HIV. At the 2012 International AIDS Conference, Merck joined more than 20,000 delegates from 200 countries in Washington, D.C. for the largest gathering of research, philanthropy, and activism held in the United States in more than 20 years. Merck unveiled the 5-year Start Merck Icentris data and was honored as a leading player at the conference for its legacy, innovation, and ongoing commitment to HIV and AIDS for over 25 years.
Being here in Washington, D.C. this week just reinforced for me, and I can tell you for many of our colleagues who are here this week, this sense of gratitude. You know, we are doing this for the right thing and we're being recognized. It really feels good that the world is saying thank you to Merck.
Merck is a company that takes their responsibility to HIV-positive individuals seriously, with both our research programs, our patient access programs, and our commitment to HIV and the HIV community. That's what's empowering to work for a company like Merck.
For Merck, it really starts with the research and the great innovations that we've brought to bear. We've been with this issue for 25 years, really from the very beginnings.
First project I worked on was the expanded access program for what became Crixivan, one of the first protease inhibitors, and at that time dealt with people at death's door, people who, if they were lucky enough to have access to these medications, came back to life, and that experience drives me to this day.
Someday there will be a people alive on this earth who will hear the story that once there was a terrible disease and that a brave group of people stood up and fought, and in some cases died so that others might live and be free.
In a powerful new documentary called How to Survive a Plague, Merck is featured as an important partner to AIDS activists in the 1980s for identifying promising new drugs, moving them from experimental trials to patients in record time, and helping turn the disease from a death sentence into a manageable condition.
This film has sparked conversations like the one that we had in D.C. About the need to reactivate activism in HIV. We use the tools of activism internally, as well as the specter of external activism.
Merck has had a long-standing relationship with many of the AIDS activist groups. I think our contributions have been significant.
Merck was one of the first corporations to say, yes, we want to be a part of the quilt. We want to make sure you can bring this quilt out so that you can amplify the science, so that people understand that this is a disease that is real, human, and immediate. One of the programs that Merck supports for us is a program called Call My Name.
Ben Salvadori, Michelle Mitchell.
In Call My Name, we try to address a significant imbalance in the quilt. The 55 miles of the quilt, less than half a mile of it is filled by people of color, and we all know that that people of color are disproportionately affected in this country by the disease, and that their names need to be represented.
And I know where my voice belongs.
Merck has been a really phenomenal collaborator. The public-private partnerships have become even more critical as we now know what we need to do. But we really don't have the resources.
Merck is very committed to work with the community most impacted. Hispanic and Latinos are heavily impacted. We are 16% of the U.S. population and 20% of new infections of HIV. I think we need the desire, the commitment, the vision, and the energy with concrete actions like the videos that we are producing with the support of Merck to make the difference.
iDesign is a great program that we've launched this year. Mondo is a great spokesperson to step up and tell his story.
I am working with Merck on this new national HIV education campaign called I Design, and I decided to work on this campaign because I was on Project Runway and I revealed my HIV status, and just the response from the community, the viewers, the fans, was really positive, so I felt like I could lend my voice to a bigger cause, and this was a perfect fit.
In the United States, we have issues about access to HIV medicines, and Merck has been taking a number of steps to make sure that our medicines are available to those people that need them.
Looking at the low-income countries, we felt that there's a particularly acute need. In those situations, the governments are not always able to have the resources to provide broad access.
We made Botswana a very successful pilot, and today 95% of people who need HIV treatment in Botswana receive HIV treatment. It's one of the proudest things I can remember in my career at Merck.
Having the first integrase inhibitor and being able to provide those patients who had run out of options with Icentris was an amazing achievement.
When I think of Icentris across all the products in the hospital and specialty care CBL, it really stands out in my mind as kind of a crown jewel. Years on the market is a real testimony to the value that product brings to the millions of patients and caregivers around the world.
The Start Merck data that we showed at this meeting is 5 years of double-blind data in a treatment-naive population, and is good news in terms of continuing people for long terms of time on Icentris-based regimen.
For the first time, all the scientists attending this conference can tell us that we may have the tools to eradicate the disease.
The work that we're doing both internally and with external collaborators on eradication research is also something that's quite unique among pharmaceutical companies who are working in HIV today, and we're very proud of that.
Merck has been differentiated this week. We have achieved or exceeded the goals that we've set for ourselves this week, and it's really a result of hard work from everybody here. We know the value that Icentris and that our history and our legacy in HIV has brought and will continue to bring going forward.
I was diagnosed when I was 23 years old, 52 years now. I just never thought that I would live this long, and I'm just grateful. You know, if I could find a scientist that helped develop some of the medications I take, I would hug them and kiss them and say thank you.